you, man. Nick Hyder. Nice to meet you.
All right, what we got real quick, couple things, how's it going to go when we break from here?
Like, this is unbelievable. This is nicer than any place that Coach Curtis and I ever played at, all the way into our 20s. And we paid to go to college and play on something that wasn't this good. It's unbelievable. All right, check it out. So I got some notes on my phone here I'm going to be using, all right? The most powerful two words in the English language are I am. All right? Or I am. And a man's life are what his thoughts make of it. All right? Now, let me go back to my first thing. The most powerful two words in the English language are I am. All right? So, let me ask you guys a question. How you doing? Well? Who else? You're doing good? Well? All right. So is that all you're put here to be? Is good or well? No, sir. Then why are you saying it? Over and over and over and over again. How you doing is the most common greeting in this town. And you're applying to it over and over and over again. I'm just good. Right? How does that help you when you get in the box? Right? When people ask me how I'm doing, I am unstoppable every time. Every time. Not only does it get their attention and stop them in their tracks, but I've said it so many times, I believe it. Right? A man's life are what his thoughts make of it. You got me? Every one of you is in exactly where you're supposed to be today based on what you actually think and believe. It's crazy. This don't make any sense. And I'm not going to try to bore you for 30 minutes. All right? But like, you have to start thinking about these things so you can truly start to understand what all this means and how that applies to you and how you can use it to win in this life, dude. Because it's hard. It's hard. All right? Now, let me tell you a couple stories about Coach Curtis. All right? So first of all, I love two things about Coach Curtis. First of all, I love the way he communicates, right? The way he speaks. If he feels a certain way about something, he's going to tell you. Exactly. No fluff. It's a beautiful thing. We need more of that in today's world. You know what I mean? And like, let me talk, like, and that mouth, all right, that speaks exactly what he thinks. Well, he knew that his teammates were going to be there to help him back it up, right? Because he didn't talk soft, ever. All right? Another thing that I loved about Coach Curtis was his ability to impact the baseball. First time I ever met him, I actually remember this. He don't remember this day, but I was working at a place called Hit After Hit. Many of you are probably familiar with it. All right, that was my job in high school. It's been there that long. And Curtis went to Good Pasture, and he was in the cage hitting, and the ball just sounded different. Like, you know those yellow balls that are in those cages? Like the ones that he hit were in 2 and 3 and 4 pieces. Like he impacted the baseball. It was unbelievably loud. And like when he played all out, intense, and to do damage. To do damage. Another story about Justin. He's a year younger than me, so when I was a senior, he was a junior, and we were good. I'm pretty sure y'all are better the next year. Like by about 10 wins probably. Correct. Right? But at that point in time, Trevecca had never been great, and we were the best team in the school's history. And when we had made the final out and lost, we'd gotten further in conference play than we ever had, and we had played our final game and lost. That was my last game as a college baseball player, and at the time I hadn't signed yet, so that was my last game. Guess who the first person was that walked up to me and gave me a hug was at the end after that game? Coach Curtis. Still remember that dude. I tear up thinking about it sometimes because for me, baseball was over. That was my whole entire life. All of my being, what I was known for, and I didn't know what was next, right? It was almost like he knew it. And he hugged my neck. We probably hugged for a good 15, 20 seconds. If we did it in here, it'd be awkward. You know what I mean? But it was great. But his confidence was unparalleled. Like the reason that he hit that ball the way that he did and hit after hit is because he expected to. All right? He was literally like, that's not a big guy back there, but he was literally David and Goliath, and everybody was Goliath. And he took them out one at a time, stone after stone after stone. Right? You guys are blessed. You guys are blessed. Now, baseball is a crazy sport because you got to be successful on your own, but you win and lose as a team, right? And here's what I know about successful people on losing teams. They don't get celebrated too often, right? It's not a lot to celebrate, right? The team is what gets celebrated. Now, who here has heard the saying, iron sharpens iron? All right, what does that actually mean to you guys? Iron sharpens iron. Speak up, I want to hear you. I feed off you guys.
The type of teammate you are makes everybody else around you better.
All right, well, I tell you what, let's use some visuals. They wouldn't let me bring an axe on campus today. All right, so pretend I got an axe here, and then pretend I got a piece of wood, because that's what you use an axe for, right? It's to chop wood. All right, now does an axe get sharper by hitting that wood? It actually gets what? Dull. Now, what happens when you hit a piece of wood with a dull axe? Does it chop it up, or does it just damage it? Damages it, right? So you got to ask yourself, are you iron or are you wood? Because like iron sharpens iron, wood doesn't sharpen iron. Does that make sense? What I just said, what does that mean to you guys? I want to see how much I need to get on your level here. Iron sharpens iron. If all you do is take a piece of iron and an axe and constantly hit wood, all you're going to end up with is a dull axe and damaged wood, right? So to continue to cut that wood, you've got to take that axe back to some other steel or some other iron and bang it together and sharpen it, right? So who's the iron in your life? Are they your teammates? Ask yourself that. The people that you hang out with when you leave here, are they iron or are they wood? Have you guys heard the saying, you are the five people, you're basically the sum of the five people that you hang around the most? Again, iron sharpens iron. Are those people wood or are they iron in your life, right? All right. There's a saying that I love that Hunter Bledsoe, who's a sports agent, told me. He said, life's fair, everybody's price is just different. All right? To get to the big leagues, everybody there is unique. They were born in different places. Their journey there was 100% one of one. It was unique, right? But to get to the same place, everybody's price was just different. All right? So here's what I see a lot when I help people out. A lot of times, their past or where they came from or their circumstances define what they can do next. All right? So, what's your name?
Max.
What, Max?
Yes, sir.
Max, what position you play?
Third base.
Third base. What's keeping you from being the best third baseman in the state of Tennessee?
Nothing.
Nothing. Good answer. What about you?
Tyler.
Tyler, what position you play?
P.O.
P.O. P.O.S.? No, I'm just kidding. P.O. All right. So, what's keeping you from being the best P.O. in the state of Tennessee? Do you actually believe that? What do you need to get better at?
I mean, I just need to throw away. I need to throw harder.
You need to throw harder? So why don't you throw harder right now? You're skinny? Why are you skinny? You don't eat enough? Why don't you eat enough? Right? Basically what I'm telling you guys is a lot of times when folks will say, hey, you know, I can't do this because, or I'm not that way because, it's all in your own thoughts, right? I want you all to ask yourself why you're not the best at your position in the state of Tennessee right now. I don't care what age you are, right? My son's in 8th grade and he plays on varsity. He don't know that there's a grown man out there trying to get him out. He don't know that because that's not what we've told him. I'm not going to say, hey, dude, it's okay if you get out. He's 18. You're 14. It's all good. His teammates need him to win, don't they? Playing on the same field at the same time, right? Doesn't matter what age you are. So you got to get out there and you got to do it, right? Any questions so far? Any questions so far? Nothing? All right, well, I'm going to get you rocking and rolling. At the end of the day, guys, Nick Saban says that athletes have they got to make a choice, and they got five choices or five categories of choice to make. When it comes to this game, you can choose to be bad. You can choose to be good. Okay? Or sorry, you can choose to be average. You can choose to be good. You can choose to be excellent. Or you can choose to be elite. Right? Let me hear from the back row. How do guys get put on the back row here?
Kind of great.
So these are the guys that want to win most. Got it. Now I know. Back row. Back row. What's your name? What is it? RET? RET. Do you want to be bad, average, good, excellent, or elite? Elite? All right. What about you, back row? Elite? What about you? Elite? All right. So what's the difference between an average player or a good player and an elite player?
Dedication, work ethic.
What does dedication and work ethic actually mean?
How much time you put in on your own?
So I think it's the choices you make because you choose to put in more time, right? Do you guys think hard work is all that it takes? Right? You think if you work real hard, though, you could be successful? Discipline? Good. I know a lot of garbage men that work real hard, that don't make a lot of money, that hate their job. Right? Working hard ain't all that it takes. You got to make a lot of good choices along the way. Right? Sit up. There you go. There you go. That's how you do it. Guys, coaches are looking at everything that you do. If you're not making eye contact, they know. Are they going to put, if you don't make eye contact with them, can they believe in you? Are they going to put you in when you need to be in the game because you didn't make eye contact during a team meeting? Right? Have you guys seen The Last Dance, documentary about the Bulls, Michael Jordan and all that? There's a scene in that documentary where Phil Jackson's talking to the entire team. He's talking to the team. Michael Jordan's right here, and he's about this close to his face, staring a hole through the side of his skull. The best player on planet Earth at that time, and arguably the best ever, was he going to get taken out of the game for not looking his coach in the eye? So why was he doing it?
Type of player he was. He worked.
He worked? What do you think the rest of his team saw the greatest player on planet Earth do, though?
Letting their coach die.
You lead by example, right? Everybody here is a leader, but have you chosen to take on that role just yet? All right, so what I mean by that is my son, he got me one time. I don't like a lot of sour candies and stuff, and he loves those things. Takes after his mother when it comes to that. But we used to take him after school when he was real young to go get ice cream after school, and one day he got me to try this bitter. It was literally called tart was the flavor of the ice cream. I didn't want it. I knew I wasn't going to like it, but he asked me over and over and over and over again until finally one day I tried it. He led me to try the ice cream. Right? You guys that are upperclassmen here, what are you doing in your actions to lead the younger guys? Younger guys, what are you doing to lead the older guys? Think about that for a minute. How does a younger guy lead an older guy? What about with your choices? A man's life are what his thoughts make of it. Okay? All right. Winning is hard. Losing is hard. Being rich is hard. Being poor is hard. Pick one. Pick one. Did you guys come here to lose? Right? So it's going to be hard to win, right? Baseball is the greatest game on earth, and it's fun. Ed Milet, I was at a conference one time in a small room, and Ed Milet looked at us and he said, guys, fun is fun. Winning is fun. Winning is a lot more fun than fun is fun. Right? You didn't come here to lose. You came here to win. So what does it take to win here? What does it take to win here? You guys are about to kick off, man. You've been busting your butts? When you look back at the end of the season, are you going to say you did everything that you could have done? Are you going to feel like you left some on the table? Are you going to feel like you left some meat on the bone? Have you done everything that you can? And guess what? Your past is just the past. It's not a life sentence. But you can change that today with a choice. A man's life is what he thinks of it. Okay? You can go on Instagram. You can go just about anywhere and listen to Mike Trout talk a lot about the talk in his mind when he gets in the box. When he gets in the box, there is no doubt. He takes a deep breath every single pitch, and basically he's saying, I'm the best there is, over and over again to himself. Okay? Guys, did you know that you actually make 30,000 or so decisions a day? How many of those are you aware of?
Not many.
Not many. When you put your pants on, do you put right leg first or left leg first?
I don't even know.
See?
Right leg.
See? When you brush your teeth, right-handed or left-handed?
Right.
You turn on the water first, or you put toothpaste on first and then turn on the water? You see? How many other things in your life are you doing that you're not even aware of? When you take off your shirt and you look in the mirror, do you like what you see? If you don't, why? I'm serious. You have a choice. You choose to put the food in your body. You choose to lift. You choose to not lift. Right? In pro ball, I wasn't the biggest, strongest guy, and I was usually the least paid. So when I showed up, I was like, I got something to earn. I got to earn some respect. So I made sure day one, when I took my shirt off in the locker room, it made a statement. It made a statement. They were going to know, regardless of who I was, they didn't even know my name or my last name. Rookie was what they called me for the first 2 years. Hey, you're rookie twice, right? But that name didn't stick too long because I wasn't just the rookie. Everybody's like, that guy busted his butt. That guy's somebody, and we got to figure out who that guy is. The way you carry yourself, the eye contact you make, the way you speak, the way you slouch in your chair, all those things matter, right? They actually show what you care about. You know what I'm saying? These guys gave up great quality time with you guys to let me come talk to you guys for a little bit, and I'm grateful to them, and I'm grateful for you for your time. You know what I mean? And I want to kick total butt for you guys today because I don't want to waste your time. I don't like doing that. And you shouldn't want to waste your time either, you know? So what's the goal for this team this year? Honestly, have you guys set one yet?
Win the district.
Win the district. That is it. All right. So how many of you guys drive? All right. You ever use the GPS? No? Man.
We'll use it for Hartsville.
Don't ask for the
We'll use it for Trousdale this year.
Trousdale? All right. So how does the GPS work? Tell me how it works.
You type in a location and
Type in a location.
it tells you where to go.
And it tells you where to go. So you guys decided when the district's your location, and now you got to figure out where to go to get there, right? The problem with most people that struggle to get where they want to go is when they type in their GPS, they just type in Gallatin, Tennessee. Where's it going to take you? Gallatin, Tennessee. Is that going to get you to the ballpark?
No.
Is that going to get you to the school? You got to have a specific address, okay? The best people at anything are the folks that can hit the smallest targets the most amount of times.
Well, the district's going to be played at Liberty Creek High School.
Liberty Creek High School. There you go. That's awesome. Home field advantage, right? So it's your guys to take, right? Fantastic. Well, the guys who are the best at anything are the ones who get at the smallest targets the most amount of times. The best shots, best pitchers, best in just about anything, right? So, but you can't hit a target that you can't see, which is why if you type in Gallatin in GPS, it's not going to get you where you want to go. So you guys have your goal in mind, right? I think I've seen you recently. Where? I don't know. You look familiar though. Not many guys got flow like that. Huh? You don't know? Huh? Interesting. What summer team do you play on?
This summer,
Patriots? Cool. I'll figure it out. It'll come to me. But going back to the target. So you typed in your coordinates of your GPS, win the district title, right? And then your coaches have been helping you lead the way on to get there, to do all the work, to put in all the work to get there. You guys got the best facilities in town by a lot, right? So then the only difference between if you guys make it or not is if you make the choices to get there and you make the choices to do the work that's required. Have you done it? And if you don't know, how can you not know? Again, you type in the GPS, it says turn right on Street, right? You turn right when you get there. How do you know if you did the work or not? And if you didn't, why not? Why not? Because it's not about you, it's about the team. It's about the team, right? For me, when my life changed, so real quick, I'll tell you, I played ball. It was great, right? Made hundreds of dollars playing the game of baseball. All right? When I got out, I struggled with who I was, but I got into the restaurant and nightclub industry, and we did really well for 6 years. I found out that wasn't good for a man in his 20s trying to raise a family. It wasn't a good atmosphere. So I had to change that. Sold everything.
Was Randy Huth involved with it?
Randy Huth was my business partner. Sure was.
Talking about piranhas or which one?
All of them.
Joe, don't ask that joke.
Yep, all of them. We were partners on everything.
Gilroy?
Yep, sure was. And but I needed to get out, needed a life change, and got out. And then the next business move I made was in real estate, where I lost everything that we had. Literally drove a car without fenders and stuff on it. Right? It was embarrassing. Didn't have nothing. Had a young boy at home I couldn't afford to raise. A girl at home I couldn't afford to marry. We lived in a teeny old house and had the biggest beater you've ever seen as a car. It was pathetic. And I tear up thinking about it just a little bit, because like back then I was letting my family down, you know. But what I figured out is that I didn't have faith. I didn't have faith. My faith wasn't strong within me. It was fractured. And you build up, that was my foundation, right? All you guys have a different foundation. Your faith is something that you believe in with all your heart and all of your mind, right? And from your faith, you can make commitments. I'm going to define commitment for you as simple as can be. It's doing what you said you were going to do. That's what commitment means. So through my faith, I was actually able to make commitments. All right? In the past, after baseball, I was always going to get in good shape. You know, had a kid at home, a son. I wanted to be a superhero. So I was always like, man, I'm going to get ripped again. I'm going to get jacked, you know. When I walk in, everybody's going to know who I am. And just like everything else, I'd get about 80% of the way there. I'd look in the mirror. I'm like, you know, the clothes fit all right. That's good enough. Good enough was good enough. And that's where I always stopped. I always got 80% to my goal. But I never could accomplish the things I wanted to in business, in fatherhood, being a husband, or anything else. And I found out that actually that wasn't commitment at all. I didn't do what I said I was going to do. Right? So I had a major breakthrough at almost 40. All right, I'm 43 now. At almost 40, had a major breakthrough, and I took something further than I ever had before, and it started at church with my faith. That's where it came from. I learned how to do everything that we have now in faith. I've been broke, and it was hard. I've been rich, and it was hard. I've won, and it was hard. And I've lost, and it was hard. You got to pick one, and you got to commit to it. And then you got to program your destination in your GPS. And then you got to do all the steps required to get there on time. Life's going to happen. You're going to get more homework. You're going to get sick. People are going to die. It's going to snow, right? You're not going to look back in 20 years and be like, man, we didn't win the district because it snowed that week. Or because you got sick with the flu, right? It takes courage to change people's hearts. Starts with yours, okay? So when I was going back to my commitment, I figured out that I was actually a quitter. Quitters and finishers look a lot alike. They look a lot alike, okay? But I don't like quitters. And I was a quitter for a long time, walking around feeling like a finisher. Here's the catch, though. A lot of times, I believe God has to remove something to make room for something else. Well, the beginning of something is in the end of something else. Think about that for a minute. Beginnings always hide themselves in ends all the time, right? So, and you have to go through tough things. You have to go through tough things to appreciate the good things when you get them, right? If it was easy to win the district championship, it wouldn't mean that much, would it? It's hard. It takes all you guys getting on the same page and literally dying for each other. Me and that guy back there, we did everything together. Stuff we shouldn't have done. A lot of that. All right? We played together. We won together. We lost together. We bled together. We cried together. When you guys can do that better than the other teams, regardless you're going to have a great season. But I bet you end up where you need to go. Whatever it takes is whatever it takes. Okay, the real question is that choice, are you willing to do it? Do it. A man's life is what he thinks of it, right? Now, I want to tell you a quick little story about new shoes. All right? Who's got some good kicks up in here? Anybody got any shoe game they're proud of? Some Air Max, those 90s back there?
Size 13 boots.
Size 13 boots? All right, so let's take those Air Max. Hold your foot up. Let me see Air Max. Hold that foot up for me. Yeah, heck yeah. Those are nice, boy. All right. So were they really, really comfortable when you first got them? They were tight. All right, so why didn't you put your old shoes back on then? Try something new. The reason you get new shoes is because the old ones took you as far as they could go. Right? So if you put on new ones and they hurt or they're not comfortable yet, they're not broke in, a lot of people might say, well, just put on the old ones. But you can't do that because they're not taking you. They can't get you to where you need to go. That's why you got new ones. Right? But what happens the more you wear those new shoes?
You get more comfortable.
They get more and more comfortable and they can get you to your next destination. They call them growing pains for a reason. It hurts every time you grow. And nobody grows by accident. Okay? Nobody develops or gets better by accident. Nobody wins a championship by accident. All right? So when you program the things into the GPS, all of you have jobs to do. Right? You're a PO, right? Well, dude, when you get in, you got to deliver. Right? And there's a lot less time or more time spent in the dugout than there is out on the field, right? So that means you've really got to dial it in and make it awesome. So you have a to-do list that you've probably made to be the person, the PO that you need to be for your team, right? Well, check this out. Instead of making a to-do list, start calling it a to-be list. Right? I have it literally on my phone. I used to have a to-do list. But the moment that I changed it to a to-be list, the reason I'm doing all those things is so I can become somebody new. A new version of myself. I want to grow. You know, if I come back and speak to you guys again next year, I promise you it'll be better. I'm the worst version I'm going to be for the rest of my life today. I'm only going to get better. I'm never going to stop developing. Right? I believe God put us here for a reason. There's only one of you in the entire world. You're 100% unique. One of one. All right? Upperclassmen, how do you help the younger guys? Well, you are most powerfully positioned and uniquely qualified to help the person that you used to be. Right? So when you're walking off the field after a strikeout, you used to be the guy in the box. When you storm past your teammate because you're pissed, you didn't help him. You were the most qualified to help the guy going into the box next because he just faced the pitcher you're about to face. It ain't about you. It's about the team. Right? And understanding that at that moment, you are most uniquely positioned to help the person that you used to be. That's everybody in life. That's why Coach Justin's here, Coach Eli and everybody else, because they used to be players just like you. And they're here to help you with everything that they learned along the way. All right? How are we doing? I'm almost done. We're in the home stretch. Everybody good? Awesome. Here's what I know about the choices you make and your to-be list, if you do them or not. You want to tell what matters to people? Take a look at what they spend their time on. I don't spend a lot of time watching like football, college football. Like I don't do it. I got kids. I got a wife who's awesome. I don't golf that much, even though I love golf. I spend all my time developing, chasing my dreams, building my dreams, or attracting my dreams, and then hanging out with my family, because that's what's most important to me. Right? My kids ain't going to be there forever. College football probably will. Golf probably will. Right? But I don't think, if today was my last day, I don't think I would wish I played more golf. I don't think I would wish I watched more football. Right? And I'm kind of weird about watching pro sports and like D1 sports anyways. Like when you guys watch it, do you watch it for entertainment or do you watch it because those are the guys that you want to be? literally, I think the way you watch sports, you can get better. You know what I'm saying? If you believe that you should be there one day, there's a good chance you might. There's a real good chance you might. But if you don't, if you watch them to be entertained, you'll be doing that for the rest of your life. Dads hate it when I talk about that. They always hate it when I talk about that. But again, what you spend your time on shows what matters. If you spend a lot of time, people in my profession, they spend a lot of time talking, thinking about money. It's important to them. I spend a lot of time thinking about that myself. I also spend a lot of time thinking about my family and my faith. Faith's what I believe in. It's where I find my confidence, by the way. Coach Curtis was a very confident man. It's because, how you doing, bud? In confidence, all good. Your confidence is what you know in here and know in here. It's the combination of those two things, and that's your confidence, right? I was a shy kid growing up. Didn't always ask the girl, didn't want to be told no. And then I watched a teammate of mine. We were at a place. Did you? I watched a teammate of mine one time that was literally like all the cheerleaders were right there. And we didn't, we had somewhere that we wanted to go with a nice looking female on our arm, right? So here I am, not asking nobody. So I ain't getting the date. All right? My buddy Luke, he was like, hey man, you want to get out of here? She was like, nope. Hey, I'm Luke, you want to get out of here? No? Cool. Hey, I'm Luke, you want to get out of here? He did it until he got his yes and he left. And he left first. You don't make any shots you don't take. You don't hit any balls you don't swing at. Right? And a lot of times I was worried about being told no. Michael Jordan says, why would I worry about missing a shot that I hadn't taken yet? Right? Check this out. Your brain can't understand the negative. All right? So my dad always used to say, don't touch the stove, it's hot, or don't swing at balls over your head. Well, what do you think I did? That's right. All he had to say is don't swing at balls below your hand. Tell me what to do, not what not to do. I'm going to do whatever you tell me. You know what I mean? The words that are going on in your own mind. What are you telling yourself? All those thoughts that you're not aware of when you brush your teeth, when you put on your pants, or tie your shoes. I'm right leg first. Right? You want to really mess your day up? Be conscious and put on your left leg first.
No.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Brush your teeth left-handed.
What shoe do you put on first?
Right?
Which one do you tie first?
Sock, shoe, or...
They don't tie.
No,
you better go sock, shoe.
sock, shoe.
Socks. So it used to be left foot first. But when you get old, the ground gets further and further away. So my right hand's the closest one to get to. My right foot is. So that's the one that I go to first now. But again, when you start being conscious of those things, it just changes awareness. Awareness. Your parents don't worry about you having a wreck. They worry about somebody else having a wreck with you and how aware you are. Yes.
What necklace do you put on first?
It depends. I got a lot of them. Yeah.
I got a few.
Today it was the black one.
Black and white?
It was the black and the white. Yeah. And it was probably because that was the order in which I took them out of the jewelry box today. Right on. What grade are you in?
I'm a senior.
Senior, I can tell. That's a leader right there. No doubt. All right. So the reason I was telling you about what you focus on grows. So skiers, there's a thing. Skiers focus on the path, right? Not the tree that they might run into. Okay, again, I don't want to swing. I'm trying not to swing a ball over my head. You're going to swing a ball over your head. If you're skiing, if you're trying not to hit a tree, what do you think happens?
Smack the tree.
You smack the tree. Focus on the path. Okay? Your brain can't understand the negative. It just can't. So all the words that you're telling yourself, Bruce Lee said that when you tell yourself things, that you're actually he said that I can't remember exactly how he said it, but he said you're casting spells on yourself all day long with the words in your mind. Right? If you say that guy's better than me, he is. If you say, man, I can't hit high velocity, you can't. As you get older and you start going through life, dude, you're going to look back and all the things that these coaches said to you, you're going to be like, wow, they were right. They were right. And it pisses you off every time. I call my dad on the regular. You're right. You're right. You know what I mean? He told me. I thought, nah, that won't be me. And sure enough, I walked out and did the same thing. You got to focus on positive thoughts, feeding positive things into your mind. If you eat bad all the time, are you going to be ripped and jacked and all that stuff? You're going to be healthy? You're going to be
16.
No, it never works. It always catches up to you, right? So what you put in your body affects performance and everything else. What you put in your mind affects performance, right? Focus on the path. And there's a triangle method that I like to do when I talk about that. Coach Prime says, what does he say? If you look good, you feel good. If you feel good, you play good. And if you play good, they pay good. They pay good. So again, feelings, how you feel matters, right? How you feel matters. So what you think leads to what you feel, right? And what you feel leads to what you do. And then what you do leads back to what you think. It's a triangle, right? So what you think in the beginning of everything totally matters. I can't say enough about how much your thoughts matter to you, right? And I heard a thing one time, I don't know if it's true, but I think the voice in your mind is your daddy's voice. Is that true? Is it true? Or the father figure of your life? You have to say that today. Right? I think it's your daddy's voice. So what you think, right? Say it with me. What you think is feel. What you feel is what you do. What you do is what you think. Hit a bomb. I can hit that guy. He struck me out. I don't think I can, right? So check it out. Here's my close, okay? You have a choice to make, dude. It's hard. Both of them are hard. Pick one. Pick one. And there's a quote that I love. Two quotes that I love. First of all, some pressure causes some men to break. Some pressure causes some men to break records. Pressure is needed. You don't break records without it. You know what I mean? You don't want the easy games. You want the hard ones. You want to take down the giants. Everybody loves an underdog story. You'll be the underdog at least once this year. Right? When you win, it feels that much better. Another thing too is they'll disrespect the caterpillar all day long, but then rave about the butterfly. Right? You might just be a caterpillar today, but if you keep doing the right things, you'll be what they rave about, and you'll be a butterfly. All right? So the point I'm trying to make is trust the process, and back to my original thing, a man's life are what his thoughts make of it. I grew up in a house where we were told we can't afford that, right? What I've learned is you just change that statement to a question. How can I afford that? Right? So when somebody said, if you ask my son, he's about 5'9", he's in 8th grade, and he can't dunk a basketball. If you said, hey man, can you dunk a basketball? He's not going to say no. He's going to say not yet. Not yet. Right? So anytime you guys feel like you're not good enough, it's that you're making a statement to yourself. Turn it into a question. How can I be good enough? And then you start to think of the ways and what it's going to take to do that. And then you get to make a choice. Am I willing to do what it takes to do whatever it is that I was told I couldn't do? Right? Life's full of choices. Every one of you, like every choice you've ever made, led you to this room right here. One different choice could have been a car accident, right? Could have been a failing grade. Could have been a lot of things. But I'm right here based on every choice that I've ever made. You guys are exactly where you are based on every choice that you've ever made that led you right here at this time. All right, so if you don't like the path that you're on, change your choices, okay? What you believe is fact. You know how you change your beliefs? You get new information. A buddy of mine, he's a big deal in our world. His name's Brad Lee. He goes by the real Brad Lee online. Some of you guys may have seen him on YouTube or Instagram. He told me one time, he said, Hyder, somebody told me one time fire was hot, and I didn't believe him, so I stuck my hand in it, got new information. Right? So anything that you want to change, get new information. You want to change your beliefs, get new information. Well, first of all, you guys have probably already been told the first thing a college coach does before he even watches you throw a baseball or anything is they check out what you're doing online. Right? And there's two worlds that we live in, the face-to-face and what's online. Guys, as you get older, what's online, there's two reputations you have. What people know that know you, the person, and what people know of you, like if they Google you. All right? So your reputation is your results times your reach. It's what you've done and how many people know about it. All right? So, but what's online is also your digital storefront, meaning like in the old days, when you opened a business, it was location, 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 right? You want to have the best restaurant in town, you go right in the heart of downtown Nashville, it's going to crush it, right? It's harder in the outskirts where not many people drive by and know about it. So your digital storefront means like, how good do you look online? If I went on any of your Instagrams or YouTubes or Twitters or anything else, it's called X now, isn't it? Or X or anything else. If I looked at that stuff right now, what would I see? Would I see the person that you want to be? Would I see the person that wants to be a college athlete? Would I see somebody that, puts up bad quality photos? What does what you're putting online say about you? Right? You can delete it unless I took a screenshot of it. Yes?
So what would you say to putting nothing online?
Nothing? I think that what's online is there's enough bad news and evil out there. You could be a good source. You could be something that helps folks out, right? That's what I do it. That's why we do it. It's called goodwill. As a Christian man, I want to share the word, right? So again, what you put out there matters. There's stuff that could still live out there from the nightclub days when we were doing stuff where I'm embarrassed by those things now. I'm not hiding from them, However, if they resurfaced, wouldn't be a great thing probably. You know what I mean? I'm not talking anything too bad, but like it's bad for the world who I am today. It's bad for my son to see it. It's bad for my 2-year-old daughter when she gets old enough to know what it is to see it. So the choices you make today, like we do so much dumb stuff when we're young, don't we?
No phones to witness it.
That's right, we were lucky. But what happens is I got you. What happens is all these dumb things that you think that, man, they're not that big of a deal, they actually are. They actually are. What happens if one of your parents is sick and they need you to take care of them and you got to get this job and this is the job that solves all the problems, you can take care of you, your family, and your parents? It's going to happen, right? And that you don't get the job because of something they saw online that would embarrass the company. You represent a school. The school has a standard. If you don't meet that standard, they show you the door. Right? You owe it to them, you owe it to yourself to be respectful and understand that stuff you put online, it matters. It matters. I did, and the Marlins owned me for 6 years, and that was the reason that I decided I never wanted to have a boss anymore. Because Justin will remember this. When I was a sophomore, I had to learn to walk again. I have a nerve disorder. We didn't know I had. And just out of the blue one day, I started losing feeling in my right big toe. And then in a couple of weeks, I literally couldn't walk. I'd lost all feeling in my legs, came back over a couple months. From that point forward, no matter how good I was at baseball, I was never going to be a high draft, no matter what I did. And in my senior season, I led all college catchers and throwing base runners out by a lot. So I had a lot of interest my senior season. What's that? That's right. I had a lot of interest my senior season. But nobody would pay me because why would they put millions of dollars into somebody that might not be able to walk next week? You know what I mean? So life's fair. Everybody's price is just different. Right? So I had to overcome that. All right. So when I said I made hundreds of dollars playing ball, that's why. I was always playing behind somebody that had money in that I was out playing on a daily basis. Right? But because I couldn't control when I played, even though I felt like I deserved I should play, that's why I decided, well, I'm never going to have a boss again. Nobody's going to tell me I can't make a certain amount of money, or I can't go watch my kid play a game, or I can't go on vacation, or I can't do what I want to do. I'm in charge, which means I take all the accountability. Nothing is anybody else's fault but mine. Because the moment it's your fault, well, only you can fix it. And I just gave up control. Everything's your fault, and you want it to be that way. Right? And that creates accountability to yourself, and then you can win. right? You can win, and you won't lose because of somebody else. Guys, I've interviewed in this town. I've interviewed Belmont, Lipscomb, and Vanderbilt's head coaches. I've interviewed their strength coaches. I've interviewed other sport coaches. I've interviewed NFL Super Bowl champions. I've interviewed former major leaguers. I've interviewed sportscasters. I've interviewed the professional sports teams owners. I've interviewed anybody and everybody. Right? It's an incredible thing that I get to call work. Right? And they all have certain things in common. The way they present themselves. The way that you look matters. It affects the way you feel. Do you like what you see in the mirror? If not, why don't you change it? I ask you again, when you take your shirt off, do you like what you see? What are you going to do about it? If you're happy with what you see, what comes next? I'm going to give you guys a secret about Vanderbilt baseball. All right? So when you see those guys out there, they're celebrating. They look like a really close-knit team, right? And they are. Here's what I'll tell you about Coach Corbin's classroom. He told me this. He actually said it in the podcast. He said when they walk in the classroom, all the tables and chairs are lined up on the ceiling grid. They're in the exact same spot every single time. If it was like this, Coach Corbin will walk in and somebody's paying the price. It's their job to fix it back. Everything, right? When he walked in my studio, he walked in and he goes, "Nick, this place is impeccable. I feel like I'm at home." I was like, "I appreciate that." Everything is in order. When we walked in, somebody got some attention. You guys sat up, got quiet, right? That was awesome. That means you guys are on the right track. You're doing things the right way. When you get to Vanderbilt, they have their notebooks and their pens laying on the desk in the exact same spot they're supposed to be, and they're supposed to leave them there in the exact same spot when they leave. Okay? But when they walk in, nobody can open up their book until Coach Corbin gets to his podium up front. He walks up there, then boom, everybody opens them at the same time. Right? They rehearse how they stand for the national anthem. They practice it.
We do it the same way.
They practice how they celebrate home runs and all that stuff. Right? Why? Because, guys, at Vanderbilt, everybody wants to play. There can only be 9 playing at a time. The guy sitting on the bench ain't happy about that, and they want to be out there. They want your spot. They want your spot. Right? So it might be hard to celebrate when the guy that has the spot I want wins and does a great job and does great for the team. It might be hard for me to celebrate that unless I've practiced it. Repetition is everything. You telling yourself, "I'm not good enough." You telling yourself it don't matter. You telling yourself, "No, I'll work out tomorrow." You do that over and over again and it adds up. Repetition is everything, right? Would you guys say you're consistent personally on your goals? Every one of you is consistent. Some of you are just consistently inconsistent and you're good at it, right? So you just fix it. Everybody's got momentum. Your momentum might just be going in the wrong direction. That's what you got to understand. But you're in charge. You decide what you do, how you do it, and where you end up. Right? You decide how great your team does. You decide how much money you make. You decide what grade you make. Right? You decide what job you get. In my world, we don't have grades anymore. I think our grades are what the bank account says. So a lot of times when I go speak to adults, I'll ask them, "How's your grades? How's your report card?" That's usually when I get them. Because usually people come hear me speak, not because they're doing great. It's because they need to improve or they're at rock bottom. All right, so when I say, "You made great grades in school," awesome. Well, now your report card is your bank account. What kind of grade you making? They're like, "Oh, got me." You know? So there's a way that everything that you're doing can be applied to later. It's awesome stuff, man. What else y'all got? Y'all are so blessed. These facilities are unbelievable. Top 3 reasons you're going to win district this year. What are they? Yep. Preparation. Okay.
Camaraderie and teamwork,
Teamwork.
or at least being a unit, playing as one.
Yep.
Effort.
Effort. Teamwork, effort, and what was it? Preparation, planning. I'd say they nailed it, wouldn't you? That's about all it takes, isn't it? Now, did you do those things? There's my daughter loves an old movie, a Pixar movie called A Bug's Life. Y'all ever see that movie? Remember the moral of that story? Right? The grasshoppers can't let the ants know that the ants outnumber them 10-1. Right? Guys, how strong are you when you lock up in arms and you walk out together, side by side together? If the room was big enough, I bet your coaches wouldn't have multiple rows. I bet they just have one row, and it's the front row. You always want to be on the front row. You in the back. Where do you sit in class? Is it assigned seating, or do you get to pick? You get to pick. Where do you sit? Front of the class. Is that for real? He does? That a boy. He does? My man. What about you? Where you sit? Middle? All right, so what's your favorite band? Favorite band, favorite artist, music artist? All right. So do you want to sit in the front row or the back row of that concert? Front. So front's best. Why don't you pick the front in the classroom? Obviously the concert's more important than class. You see? You learned about a lady named Rosa Parks. What'd she want to do?
Sit in the front.
Sit in the front. So why are you sitting in the middle of the back? Why are you choosing? That's BS. You see what I'm saying? Your choices, guys. You don't even realize you're making them. Don't even realize you're making them. And I'm not picking on you. Sit in the front. Sit in the front. Fight to the front next time. You know what I mean? Seniors, hold them accountable. Hold them accountable. Right on. Y'all gonna win?
Yes, sir.
Do you believe that, or are you just telling me?
No, we're going to win.
What happens if you lose?
A whole lot of polls.
A whole lot of polls? Say, Nick, why are we worried about losing? We ain't played yet. Right? If you lose, you play again. When a teammate's down, pick him up.
Play again until that last game.
Till that last game. You know what I mean? And because a guy gave me a hug, gave me some hope, I kept on fighting and I got to play a little longer. One of these days, you're going to play your last game and you don't know when it is. As a matter of fact, an injury could make one of your next games your last game. You're going to look back and say, I could have did more. I've never met a man that gave all he could and regretted it. Never met a man that found Jesus and regretted it. Never met a man that went all in, gave everything he had, and even if he lost, regretted it. You only regret what you don't do. You only regret the girl you did, the time you could have asked the girl out and you didn't, and somebody else did. You only regret taking the only good pitch you saw. Right? You only regret being put in a situation that you ain't prepared for because you didn't do the work. Right? If you did the work and you still fail, that's where the gifts are. God puts the greatest gifts in the struggle. Right? You wouldn't know good if there wasn't evil. You wouldn't know light without dark. Okay? And if it was easy, you wouldn't appreciate it when you accomplish something great. But check this out. The struggle, isn't that how you get better? The gift is the struggle. The gift is the hard. You get to pick your hard, remember? Pick one. That is the gift. How much time do you spend developing this, guys? To compete. To compete and to win, to dominate, to take down the giant. Right? This is how you do that. People pay thousands of dollars to go to conferences. Like, it's still crazy to me that people pay me thousands of dollars to stand in front of people and talk. It's crazy. Right? People want to get better. They want to grow this. That's what you'll find. The older you get, the further you go in life. You know what I mean? But what's going to happen with your body is what's going to happen first up here. So I think these guys are all over it. I know I'm not the only one that came and spoke to you guys. This is what it's all about. And like, find a way to get something out of every time somebody speaks into you or pours into you. Okay? Find a way to get something out of it. That's your job. When you go sit in church on Sunday and the pastor's talking, right? Dude, He might have said something that you needed to hear. But you got to be listening. You got to have your eyes, ears, and heart open to receive, right? Awesome. Nothing else? Thank y'all for having me. I appreciate your time today. Let's get y'all outside. Awesome. Thank you.
If you need sleeves, go ahead and get it.
Appreciate you, baby.
Thanks.
My man.
Thank you, sir.
Absolutely.